Hey folks, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and please hit like. So today I'm putting the mainspring back into the barrel of an Illinois pocket watch. So I have mainspring winders, all kinds of them, which are great for wristwatches. I have two of them for use in pocket watch mainspring winding. The issue here is with these T-end mainsprings, where the T sticks through the cap on the top and the base of the barrel on the bottom. It's almost impossible once you roll the mainspring up into the mainspring winding device or barrel to actually push that into the barrel so that that little the T on both ends actually fits in. So I've tried it many times, I've done it many times, and I've failed so many times. So I think way back in the old days they did this by hand. I learned how to do it by hand. I cannot do it wearing a glove, so I always clean up the mainspring after I finish doing it with Rodico, and then I oil the mainspring appropriately. So once I get the mainspring in the barrel, I got to figure out which direction the arbor goes in, and so I look at the actual arbor hook on the inside, and I determine if that arbor hook is sort of clockwise or counterclockwise, and then which way the arbor hook goes in. Normally the mainspring barrel has the hole on the top and the bottom. The cap hole and the barrel hole are different sizes. In this mainspring barrel, I was lucky or unlucky that the mainspring barrel hole sizes were exactly the same. I'm not sure why Illinois did this, but they did, so they were exactly the same. Getting the hook to hook around the mainspring, or the mainspring to hook around the hook. See that 50 times. Here I'm just actually taking my staking set, and the tab that sticks through, you sometimes can tap it down a little further, so it's got a very good, it's sitting in there nicely, so I do that. I tap it down. I don't tap it very hard, not hard at all. You don't need to. Sometimes you can just push it down with the weight of your hand. Or like I did there, just a little tiny tap, and then you look on the other end and see if that T is sticking through. If it's not sticking through, then you actually have to unwind the mainspring and start over again, because it's there's no way of rotating that mainspring within the barrel to make sure the T goes through the very small gap that's in the base of the barrel. It's an impossible job. So it just takes time and experience to do this properly. I've been at this for almost 20 years now, and I've put in a boatload, a hockey sock of mainsprings over the years. But you'll laugh at me in a few minutes as I show that I not only can repair watches and make watch parts and stuff like that, but I can also screw up. So we'll see how that happened in a few seconds. So here I'm just lining the edge of that stake from the staking set over the top of the very end of that mainspring that's wrapped around in the tab to make sure everything is fine. And I'm looking at the edge right now to make sure the mainspring is low and lower than the lip, and the lip is what holds the barrel cap. So I'm looking at that lip and saying, okay, is that down far enough, or is that lip going to interfere with the lip itself? I determined that I should be able to move that down a bit more because it wasn't sticking in well enough. The tab, I'll say, wasn't sticking in the slot of the barrel well enough. So I was like, okay, that should do it here. I think that's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. Not quite sure, but I think it's good. Now I'm looking at oiling the mainspring. Some of the newer mainsprings you actually don't have to oil. You simply put them in. There's no requirement for oiling them. So if you do oil them, you oil them in 4 places, and you'll see that in a second. Here I'm still playing with that little tab to see if that's going to work, if it's going down far enough. I don't trust that it is going far enough. I may have a bigger problem than I thought. I keep looking at it. You cannot put the cap on if it's not aligned properly. If it's not aligned, the cap goes on. The cap can ruin the mainspring, or you can bend the cap. And if you bend the cap, you're screwed. You have to get another cap or try to flatten it out on the staking set. I've done that before for people that have mangled up caps, like watchmakers that are hacking away and have mangled up caps. So here, putting the arbor in, the mainspring, the short end of the mainspring wraps around the arbor in the notch. Sometimes, and I've showed this in some videos, you have to have a tool, which I have, that crimps it in a little so it hugs the arbor better. In this case, the arbor was fitting perfectly and there was no real hugging required. It's not as tight as a lot of arbors I've put in before, but this one seemed to work perfectly and went in nicely. So all was good. And so I put that in, and then I did a little bit of work there on centering it. I usually use 2 fingers to rock it into the hole. Again, no other way I know of doing this. And again, I do this with bare fingers. My hands are clean, so I don't come in here with sweaty hands or whatever. The white marks you see on my nail are from me grouting my bathroom, and that's like cement or something. And I've washed my hands a ton of times since then, and that grout just doesn't seem to want to come off. It's a part of me now. So here what I do is to make sure that the mainspring is grabbing the arbor, I take a pin vise and I grab the base with a pin vise, and then I'm able to rotate the arbor around to see if it's grabbing the mainspring properly, and it'll wind inward. So we're not at the mistake yet, but you'll get a kick out of it. So here I'm doing that and I'm winding it. I'm not in camera view, I apologize for that. But all I'm doing is turning it ever so slightly to make sure that the hook is grabbing the mainspring, and the mainspring will in fact wrap around the arbor when it's time. So that's that job there. And I try to make sure that the mainspring's not warped. Now, if you take the mainspring out by hand or put it in by hand, and you're stretching it too much, you can actually make the mainspring bulge out so it becomes more of a pyramid, and you don't want that to happen because it will cause friction on the cap of the cap would be on top and the mainspring would be pushing up. So when you put the mainspring in, you can look at it and make sure it's flat. I've never had that problem before because I do a job where it's rolled in fairly tight. If I could successfully use my mainspring winder, life would be a lot easier. But for those, you can do it for different types of mainsprings where the hook is on the inside of the barrel and the outer rim of the barrel. Well, that type of mainspring is very easy to put in, and I can use a mainspring winder for that, because even if you miss it with the lip of the mainspring and the hook, when it spins around, it's going to catch that hook the next time. So that's a very nice mainspring to put in. Whenever I get these TN mainsprings, I'm always going, oh crap, not a TN mainspring. So because I know they're going to be fun. So here I'm just putting a bit of oil around the arbor and around the mainspring. I put it in 4 places, the oil. And for the oil on the mainspring, I use, let me see if I can get the number up here. I use 9104 or HP 1300. So HP 1300 does a great job at that. And I use that to actually do that. Then I have to actually pick this thing up to push the cap in. So I do that and then push the cap in place. Alright, now I've got the cap pressed down, and once the cap is pressed in place, I use my tweezers and put the cap between the tweezers and make sure it's flat, and just go around the mainspring with my tweezers to make sure that the cap is on tight and it'll work perfectly, right? So that's that job. And then I'm going to put a glove on now, and I'm going to I think I oiled it again, oil the tops, but I put a glove on, and then I basically clean up the mainspring barrel with the Rodico. So that's going to happen in a second. There's my glove, and I Bugs Bunny the glove. That's when you blow it from the other end and it inflates the glove, and that always ensures that the inside or the outer part of the glove is always clean, and the inside where your hand goes is going to have oil from your hand and stuff. So I put the glove on. I try not to touch the watch with the bare hand from now on, and I just work it with Rodico here to take off anything that might be on the barrel that might cause a problem. And then once I've done that, I think I'm pretty good. Do the other side. Then I roll the teeth along the Rodico, and that'll pick up anything that is left over with the teeth. And as you recall, I did pre-cleaning on this watch with lighter fluid, and then after the pre-cleaning on the watch, I did a full clean in my Pearl watch cleaning machine, and I used a proper cleaning liquid. The liquid I used was Zenith, which is the higher end, I think, but Zenith cleaning liquid. So now I'm all ready to put this barrel in and spin it to make sure it's on the plate and it's spinning perfectly. So funny part is coming up. Brace yourself. And this is squeezing the plate in there, and this is my Myers number 58 movement holder. It's a thing of beauty. Recently a friend of mine picked one up off the internet. Thank you very much for that. It's excellent that you did that. So because it's the number one movement holder as far as I'm concerned. So this is Wayne's watch, so big shout out to Wayne. I won't use the last name, but you know who you are. So this is your pocket watch I've been working on. It's required a lot of work, more than I thought. It required some hairspring work to get the corrosion off of it. It required a new jewel setting on the top, and I was lucky it didn't take me an hour to find one, which is great, but it worked well, so make sure that actually works well. Here I'm oiling various parts in the plate. And what else did it require? It required, oh geez, I can't remember, just lots of stuff. So it turned out to be a little more of a what I call a Frankenwatch than I was thinking it would be, and I think Wayne thought it would just be a cleaning. But when you take watches apart and they're 100 years old, you're going to find stuff. So, and we still don't know whether this watch will work really well. So before, it had a bunch of snow, which means there was a problem, and that snow was created by the broken jewel, the upper pallet. The upper pallet fork, or sorry, the upper balance jewel. So here I'm fitting the barrel back into the plate, and I'm like, all right, what happened here? So this doesn't seem to be fitting, and it is the right barrel, I think. I didn't use a different barrel. What the hell is going on? So here I'm thinking, oh my God, did this thing go on the wrong way? And this is where the holes on both sides were the same, which threw me off because normally they're not. So I tested the arbor on one side in the hole, thinking that the gears would be in the lower end, the teeth, and they're not. They're on the upper part of this watch. So I had to take the watch mainspring out again completely. I had to line it up again the same way you saw me do it earlier. I had to put the mainspring back in the watch, and if you look at this picture and the previous one, you'll see that this one is wound around clockwise and the other one was wound around counterclockwise. So I had to do the job all over again. I'll say it was my mistake because what I didn't do was look at the photo I took. I always take a picture of the mainspring once I take the cap off so I can remember which direction it goes. But this time I thought, oh, this is obvious. It obviously doesn't go it doesn't go clockwise, it's counterclockwise because the hole fits perfect with the arbor, not thinking that the two holes are exactly the same on the cap and the bottom. So Illinois Watch Company, if you were still around, I'd call up your president and give him shit for doing that. That was a dumb move. The engineers shouldn't have had Friday afternoon off because of that, okay? So once I was able to put the mainspring back in, I lined the T up again on the lower part to make sure that it jetted out through the small hole in the base of the barrel. So because it's a T mainspring, TN mainspring. Then here I'm lining up the cap, and there's a notch on the cap that fits on the upper part of the T, and I have to actually hold it to do it next to my eyes, so I'm out of camera here, but that's all I'm doing is making sure that cap is lined up with the T and then just pushing it down. So once I've got that cap pushed down, I know it's good, it's lined up properly, there's no issue, and then I can put that into the look at that, it fits, and look at that, it rolls. Oh my God, I felt like a moron. So but that's the you learn lessons all the time in watchmaking. You get frustrated sometimes if you do something like this, but this was, I think it was an honest mistake having the hole sizes the same. You guys can comment on it, I'm sure you will. But as I always do, I show you my mistakes if I have any. So there was no harm, no foul doing this, just a little bit more time on my side. So here I'm oiling the arbor again. And that's pretty much it for this video today. So thanks for supporting my channel. Please hit like and please hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I'm just floating there. So thanks a lot again, and have a great day.